Hello, and welcome to Trend Watch by CompTIA Research, where we give you a little bit of this and a little bit of that in today's technology data. Today's topic will be a continuation of the look that we've been taking about vertical industries. Today's vertical industry that we're going to explore is the professional services space. This is a very important industry. Almost all of us who live here in this country and beyond will interact with a professional services provider at some point in our lifetime. What we're talking about are those providers who help us with business services that we need along the lines of legal, accounting, and other types of business services. Consulting would be another one that falls into that category. So if you have used a lawyer, if you use a CPA every year when it comes to doing your taxes, if you are a business owner who has consulted with a business or integration specialist who helps you with your processes and your workflow, those are professional services firms. Most of you will be familiar with some of the big names in the industry. That would be the Deloittes, the EYs, the KPMGs, PwCs, a lot of acronyms there. But those are the big guys, and they help you with all kinds of things from business process optimization to running your firm financially to the legal services that we already talked about here. But again, with those giant companies come a huge industry full of smaller firms. Many of you probably work with a small law firm or a small accounting firm. So those all count in the professional services space as well. So what we wanted to take a look at with this study, and we've been doing it across 8 different verticals here at CompTIA, is what some of the big business priorities and issues are for these verticals, and then how they're dealing with their skills gaps, workforce issues, and other things that pertain to them trying to attain those goals. So when it comes to professional services, some of the top priorities for their business for this year include, I'll name the top 3 for you. The number one is actually a tie. The top priority for them in the coming year is growing their revenue. That seems like a fairly obvious one. Very important in the services business. We are kind of a services economy these days. And that's all about, growing your revenue, growing your client base, upselling and increasing the amount that you spend with individual clients or they spend with you. So growing revenue is going to be important. But tied with that, for professional services firms at number 1 is increasing their staff productivity. As you can imagine, in an industry that is very much built upon billable hours, if you think about law firms and accounting firms, where the individual who works for you is really, they're the engine for revenue generation. And so their productivity and how much they build into a particular hour that they're building a client for is going to make you more profitable and generate more revenue for you. So getting the people more productive is going to go a long way toward gaining that first goal of growing revenue. Secondly, they are looking to become more operationally efficient. So these firms are going to want to run as tightly as possible, as leanly as possible. So they're looking for ways to become more efficient. And often that means applying technology, which is the third business priority that professional services firms have, is getting more and more technology, including emerging technology like artificial intelligence and more automation into their everyday operations. And that is going to help them with their goal of becoming more cost efficient, having more productive workflows and more productive workforce, and then as a result, growing revenue and increasing their profitability. So those are their goals. With any goals, there are impediments and challenges that come with that. The number one thing for almost all of our verticals when it came to challenges in attaining their goals was whatever the state of the economy happens to be. So I'll just sort of put that out there as as an automatic kind of perennial issue that a lot of companies worry about. Is the economy going to be up or down? And what is that going to mean for my company? But when you drill down specifically to professional services and go beyond macroeconomic impact, what is the biggest thing that's going to prevent them from getting where they want to go in the coming year? And it happens to be their inability to find and recruit workers who have the right technology skills to implement the types of things that they need to do to reach those goals. So it really is all about technology and all about skills. And as I said at the outset here, we want to talk about how professional services firms are dealing with that, how they're approaching technology and their workforce in order to get them to the point that they want to be. One of the big surprises I found with the professional services data that came back was that among the verticals we studied, professional services firms rated themselves the lowest in terms of their use and approach to technology, in terms of their acumen. Like we called it cutting edge. That would be, so are you cutting edge of technology? And that would be sort of the most superlative that you could answer, as opposed to being, somebody who is a bottom dweller in terms of the use of technology. And only 12% of the professional services firms identified as cutting edge. I found that particularly interesting because we often find that many of these law firms and accounting firms know a ton. They are deeply, deeply skilled at their very vertical applications, the accounting applications that they use, the legal applications that they use. They know these applications so well that they are often in turn recommending them and selling them almost as an adjunct channel type company, a technology provider to their customers. But as it turns out, they may know a lot about that very narrow lane, but many of these professional services firms said they really need to grow their skills in the breadth of technology that they operate at their company. So getting outside of the simply knowing everything there is to know about a very specific application, they need their workforce in general to get better at more horizontal types of things that are the types of technology that touch all departments within their organization. Some of those skills that they're looking for. So if you're trying to get into this particular vertical and you're a technology person, these are the skills that you might want to think about. Number one was cybersecurity. They are looking and desperately seeking better skilled people in professional services who know about cybersecurity and all of the risks that it holds and how to mitigate those risks. You can see why this would be super important to this particular industry because of the amount of customer data that a law firm and an accounting firm holds on to, particularly very private, very important customer data about people's finances, their legal situations, whatever it may be. You don't want that kind of customer data to be breached. You don't want it to be compromised in any way. And a law firm and an accounting firm and other professional services firm that has sort of those golden jewels of information about the companies that they work with do not want those to become exposed. So it's really important that they bone up and get more people and hire more people who have cybersecurity skills. The other two areas that they're looking for are people with project management skills, and those who are more steeped in AI and automation. So they're really looking to the future. There are a lot of tasks and workflow within legal departments, within accounting firms that could be automated. And these companies, much like other industries like manufacturing and retail, are looking to automate and use AI to become more efficient with some of those rote tasks within their organization. So they can free up the people, the very educated people that they often have in their organizations, to be doing more strategic level work. So you're going to see a lot more investment from some of these firms and some of these emerging technologies that are going to help them to get there. They're also telling us that they're going to be investing more in training. So that's important. If they're having trouble finding people and hiring new people to fill these highly skilled spots that they're looking to fill, training is an answer to that problem. You can train people that are already in your organization up on those skills. So really, promoting from within to fill in the gaps that you have to make your organization more efficient. And the number one thing that they're trying to do when it comes to increasing the skills level of their employees beyond growing revenue is they're telling us that they really want to increase efficiency and they really want to cut costs within their organization. So that's a little recap of what's going on in professional services. It's a very vast, diverse industry. It kind of covers, all kinds of small firms up to the big guys that I talked about in the beginning. And it's an interesting area with a lot of technology promise. Thank you.